Welcome back. You're still watching the lifestyle segment on The Weekend Show. One drop of humanity, give blood, save lives. That's the theme for the World Blood Donors Day, which is on the 14th of June globally. Every year we have this conversation about donating blood. Now, we don't have to wait for emergencies. We don't have to wait for someone who we know to need blood before we go donate blood. And just before this segment, I was having a conversation with my guest in the studio saying, we've had this conversation every year for the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm pretty sure the problems remain the same. In most cases, we focus on the wrong things. How can we see ourselves as fellow human beings, as fellow people who can contribute to the society? And in some cases, it's volunteering, and in other simpler cases, it's about just being able to be a blood donor. Discussing World Blood Donors Day, which is for the 14th of June. In the studio, I have with me Ayobami Bakare, who's the program manager for HEMA Health Initiative Nigeria. Good morning. Welcome back on The Weekend Show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
We also have Dr. Danjuma Jemima, who is the resident anesthesiologist and public health advocate. Hello, Jemima.
Good morning. Hello.
So I've had him on the show a lot of times, and when I think about blood donation, I think about him. I don't know anything else he does in his life. I just know that from time to time we get messages, we get calls, and I know what it's about.
Yes.
What got you into being an advocate for blood donation?
So as a medical doctor, I would say that I didn't realize the importance of blood donations and all the buzz about it till I got into medical school. When you start seeing conditions that people are born with or people have to suffer for a long period of time, and they need blood to survive basically, and we're talking about conditions except elective surgeries and all the other things that people need it, you realize that it's quite a very important topic. And I've always wanted to donate blood and all that, and why did I get more involved? I realized that when I started working, I realized that there's a lot of times that we do not have the blood available in the hospitals to save lives. We lose lives sometimes because we don't have the blood available. While I was a house officer, that's just after medical school, we had cases where intern doctors, while on duty, have to go to the blood bank to donate blood for children, newborns that are born and they need blood and it's not available. So this literally drives me to understand that this is important. We need to advocate for it because nobody is going to speak for these people. We have to be the ones to speak for them. Yeah.
As a medical practitioner, what are some of the most common myths around blood donation that you've heard about or experienced?
Okay, I think one of the most common ones that I hear is that women cannot donate blood. It's so when you see relatives and you're like, oh, please go to the blood bank and see if you're eligible to donate or things like that, you realize that they'll be like, oh, let me call the uncle, let me call the brother. I'm like, you go and check if you're eligible. And they think that they can't donate. Yes, women have specific restrictions that prevent them from donating blood at certain times of the month or certain, like after childbirth or while breastfeeding or things like that. But you can be a donor. I have donated blood. I am a donor of blood for patients that need it, and you realize that that's one of the most common myths. And then some people wonder, oh, what are they going to use my blood for? When I donated last time for the surgery, they did not use it or things like that. But they don't realize that blood donation is a continuum. Blood expires, and because blood expires and other people might need it, we have emergencies that we can use it for. So yeah, just like
tell me about blood expiring. What's the lifespan?
Okay, so depending on what is used to preserve the blood can be safe to use between 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, so that's like about 35 to 42 days. That's usually blood span for red cell. We have different blood components. There are some that can be stored for up to a year when it's stored properly. That's like the plasma component of blood. And then there are some that can only last 5 days, like the platelet component of blood. So each blood product has its lifespan and what it can be used for.
How many times a year is it advisable for a donor to donate blood?
So usually it's advised that you you can safely donate blood at least once every 3 months. Yeah, so in a year you can do 2, 3, 4 times if possible. Yeah.
Okay, before I go to Ayobami, so what about tattoos? You hear that people with tattoos aren't meant to donate blood.
Okay, yes. So people with tattoos, it's not like they're permanently not allowed to donate blood, but there has to be a reasonable amount of time that passes after their procedure before they're allowed to donate blood. So usually when you go to tattoo parlors and all that, they ask you to wait about 3 months, because there are certain components that are used in a tattoo that could get into the blood, and that gets into your blood and is in your circulation for a while. So it needs to clear out before you're able to donate blood safely to people. Yeah, just like if you have some medical conditions, you may not be able to donate blood for that period. It needs to clear out before you're able to donate. So yeah, you give like 12 weeks, like 3 months. However, in developed countries, there are medical tattoo parlors, will I put it that way? Yes, because of what they use and their safety practices, they allow, like, you can donate 12 hours after.
Okay, that's good. Ayobami, Hema Health has been having blood donation drives over the years and all. Has there been any improvement in the numbers and the processes, not from your end, but just from the donor angle?
So, like we were discussing before the show started, the needle hasn't moved really. Nigeria still gets the bulk of the blood from paid donors. Then family exchange makes the bulk, where like patients' relatives donate for their patients. So, like 30% of what we did is gotten from non-paid donors. So that's where there's like a huge gap, like where the situation where family members can donate, then people have to resort to the black market, and over time, inflation has entered that also. Now it adds additional, will I say, pain to patients' relatives, because now you're forced to pay for 70k to 100k for a pint of blood.
Let me dial that back a little. So there are people who know that they can go to a hospital, donate blood, and get paid.
Yeah.
And so there are people who capitalize on that.
Yeah, it's actually like it's a side also for some people, if I can say that word. Like, so they know that they can pay, and it's actually not safe, because it leads to, how sure are you? When was this person's last donation?
Yes.
Because red cells needs like 120 days to mature. So these people like move from hospital A to hospital B to hospital C, probably sometimes once or twice in a month. So whatever blood you're not getting optimal blood at that point.
You know, that makes a lot of sense, because my next question was meant to be around the technology, but just even to feedback on what you've said. If someone's getting 70,000 naira for donating blood, that's minimum wage. And so it's understandable how our poor systems has made that a hustle, and they can do that. However, we're very big on technology, fintech, startups, and the likes. What happens to us thinking about having a national blood donors register, that the hospitals can check that this person donated last month? Would there be some type of stigma attached to that, or are there some privacy concerns if we have those type of things in place?
No, there is not. One of the things we're advocating for is actually a national blood donor registry. So that takes care of the register and lets know the amount of blood we have on the system at any particular point. Because, so another problem we've noticed now is, let's take for example Abuja. Wuse General Hospital has 10 units of O positive. Down the road, Gariki Hospital needs O positive. There is no mechanism in place that tells, Gariki, Wuse has this blood unit, you can swap, you can exchange. So sometimes the blood might be in Wuse Hospital and goes to West, while someone down the road needs it. So we need that donor registration, like how many units of blood is in the system presently, where is it located, who needs it, and where is it being used. So that way we're able to, like, because we don't have enough, but a sizable amount is going to waste also.
And this is to all young people who are always talking startups technology. This is the type of things we should be innovative about. Everything doesn't have to be profit driven, but these are things that we can actually put in place to ensure that we're saving lives. Talking about technology, Rwanda, Kenya, compare where they are with where Nigeria is when it comes to things like blood donation. Paint a picture for us.
So there are lots of dynamics in place. You say, for instance, landmass for Nigeria. Rwanda is probably not as big as Nigeria, but like they've had a drone delivery system for like 10 years. We're talking about it. People have presented it in papers, but like we need I think it's something blockchain can do, but we need a chain system where getting blood from Abuja to Jos, there should be a mechanism that it does not take the whole day for me to transport blood. Like we should have like, aside from National Blood Service, only few, aside then Lagos State, only few states have a blood service component. So if you need blood, you are at the mercy of whatever hospital you are currently. So if you cannot get a donor to the hospital, if somebody cannot find you a blood donor, then there's a problem.
How can we incentivize people to donate blood?
So we are trying to move towards non-paid donors, because sometimes incentivizing, as it happens in the paid donors, does not really give optimal blood. So what we're saying is, it should be, you are saving a life. And at the end of the day, you might even be saving your own life. 1 unit of blood can save 3 lives. So we feel like that should be enough incentives for you to want to. It doesn't have to be when it concerns you, when it concerns your neighbor, when it concerns your friend. If you're elderly, of age, above 18, you should be able to walk into a closest hospital and say, I want to donate blood. And someone would attend to you. There's always a need for blood.
Fortunately, that's ideal. Realistically, we know people just wouldn't. I have a suggestion for government. Imagine a system where we have NHIS and then we also have HMOs. A system where blood donors get extra points. So for instance, my HMO gives me, I think, about 3.5 million naira spent per year. A system where each time someone goes in to donate blood, it adds like an extra 250k in insurance in the event, because people also want to know that if I'm being an organ donor, a blood donor, if I have an emergency,
yes, so
give me some privilege, you know what I mean? And it doesn't have to even be cash. And this is what you expect the Ministry of Health to do. Without trying to be sued, we had a lot of expectation of the Minister of Health when he was appointed, but we saw that less than 10% or 25% of the allocation was given to the Ministry of Health last year. But we also have the big corporations and the big private businesses who would rather invest money in concerts and shows than in healthcare.
So with blood donation, like that's what we say to partners and everybody. Blood is not a one-time thing. Yeah. You cannot host one blood drive in a year, and like, so you can host 4 in a year, like, because the amount of blood, there's an expiry date for this blood unit. So somebody somewhere needs blood, but once you tell people like, oh, we did blood drive last year, let's do something else, and I'm like, somebody needs this blood. You have to. It's not a one-time, one and done thing. Blood donation has to be continuous, because you don't know who might need it.
Gentleman and lady, thank you so much. What extra information do you have for our viewers before we let you go? Yeah,
so starting tomorrow, for all blood donor, there's going to be a series of blood drive all over Nigeria. Please, you can check your Instagram, you can check on iMyHealth's initiative on Instagram to find the location closest to you. And to you?
Please be a voluntary unpaid donor. A lot of people need it. 1 drop of blood saves lives. It saves lives, and 1 pint of blood can save at least 3 lives. So please donate, and we appreciate you for doing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And to our viewers, as you've heard, tomorrow is World Blood Donors Day. They have different blood donation drives. Check AIMA on social media if you want to find out more, or go to the nearest hospital. I want to say a shout out to my brother Eddie, who got into blood donation before me and made sure we all get involved, and I also do as well. It's the little we can do. You are saving a life. That's all we can take on this segment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, more on The Weekend Show.